We were going to wait until 6:45 to start this, but you know what? We're going to go ahead and get started now. This is Garden Grove Unified School District Athletics High School Football on YouTube on a Thursday. We used to call it High School Football Friday until I realized we have a lot of Thursday games, so we can't call it High School Football Friday if we have a lot of Thursday games. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. In the chat, shout out to Coach Alexander from LQ, 3-game winning drives. And he had the bravery to set up trick plays. I'm going to tell you what, La Quinta is looking fantastic right now. We're going to get into it in just a little bit. We are live. David Mora here. Another just fabulous week of football coming to you. Last week, had to take the week off. I had some things to do. Next week, we're going to be here with a doubleheader. But you know what? We've got tonight. We've got a big game here. A game that means a lot to both teams. It's got a lot riding on the line. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. Bolsa Grande, Matadors, Los Amigos, Lobos here tonight at Bolsa Grande Stadium. Let's take a look at these two teams. Los Amigos led by Coach Guess. Their 2022 record 8-3. That was good enough for 4-1 in league and a tie for first place. They're looking to make it back-to-back league titles. They have 8 league titles total. Their last one, of course, coming last year. Their last playoff appearance last year in 2022. They have 1 CIF title game appearance. I've got it right here. I kept attributing that title game and saying that Bob Johnson was the coach. It wasn't Bob Johnson. Then I thought maybe Art Mahalik. It wasn't Art Mahalik. Don't know who the coach was, but that was a loss to Mission Viejo, 35-0 in the 1981 Central Division title game. Then, well, yeah, anyway, that's their only championship game. We're rolling into it. I got started early, so, you know, we're just kind of getting into the thing here. We've got senior night here for Bolsa. We're not going to be able to bring it to you because we've got the pregame show going on. Let's talk more about Bolsa, led by head coach Michael Acosta, leading the Matadors to their first playoff appearance in over 30 years last year. They had the longest county playoff drought, going at over 30 years. Took that monkey right off his back. Their record, 6-6. They ended up winning a playoff game, beating Duarte, losing to eventual CIF champions Whittier Christian. But hey, they had a 2-3 record. Third place, I know their record looks a little bit dubious, but there was a 3-way tie there for second. They were able to get in on the coin flip, and good for them. Their last playoff appearance, of course, last year, 1 CIF title game appearance. That was a victory back in 1986 in the Central Division title game against Valencia. And legendary coach Mike Marujo. Now, actually, no, we're not going to go there. We're going to go here. We're going to talk about what these schools have done so far. Los Amigos 4-4, 2-1 in league. Let's take a look how they got there. Big victory over San Bernardino in week 1, 28-27. The Lobos were trailing in that game, ended up scoring a late touchdown, going for 2, getting the 28, up by 1. San Bernardino driving. San Bernardino throws an interception. Lobos win the game. They follow that up with a tough loss to University. Follow that up with a game here live that you saw against Cabrillo, 28-27. Block extra point was the difference maker in that game. They followed that up to another game that you saw live. We were there on the campus of Los Amigos. A very weird game all around, especially for us. For Los Amigos, a big loss, 49-14. They followed that up with 2 tough losses, one to Artesia. Then La Quinta, the aforementioned La Quinta, coming back and winning that game against Los Amigos in the last minute before we saw Los Amigos 2 weeks ago with a little bit of last-minute heroics of their own against Rancho with a 1-point victory, avenging their loss to Rancho last year. And last week, taking care of Loera handily. And, of course, here tonight against Bolsa Grande, and next week finishing it all off against Santiago. What about the Matadors? We haven't seen them since way back in August. Here in week 0, we covered their game against Havana as I added the extra A there. 27-21 close victory. They followed that up with a big loss to Beckman, who's a pretty good program. Followed that up with victories against Artesia and Century before dropping a tough one to Ocean View. Taking care of Loera and Santiago in league and then dropping one to Rancho last week, 21-28. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. What about last week? We were off, so let's take a look and review what went on. Last week, Los Amigos taking care of business over Loera, as we mentioned, 34-6. La Quinta taking care of business against Santiago, 42-36. We're going to point something out right now that you're going to take a look at and, you know, be like, oh, wow, that's crazy. Rancho taking care of business against Bolsa, 21-18. Pacifica over the Empire League, getting a win in the victory column in league play over Kennedy, 27-19. That was definitely an upset victory there for the Mariners. And Garden Grove dropping their league opening game to Marina, 28-21. Now, what's interesting about those scores? Look at those league scores. One score separates La Quinta and Santiago, Rancho and Bolsa a few weeks ago. La Quinta and Los Amigos, La Quinta and Rancho. All of these teams are so close that one score has been separating all of these teams. This year has been amazing. Now let's take a look at the league standings here. La Quinta head of the pack 3-0. Rancho, Bolsa, Los Amigos at 2-1. Now, if you're a La Quinta fan, a Rancho fan, or a Los Amigos fan, the logos are messed up. Ignore the logos. Ignore the logos. But those are the standings there. Now, if you're a La Quinta fan, you don't want to listen to this. Rancho fan, don't want to listen to this. Los Amigos fan, you don't want to listen to this. If you're a Bolsa fan, maybe you're okay. If Bolsa wins tonight and next week, if Rancho wins tomorrow and next week, and if Los Amigos wins next week, then we're going to have a four-way tie for first place at 3-2. I call it turmoil. The Garden Grove League turmoil. I'm rooting for that. I'm sorry. Although it would be amazing to see La Quinta pull out this victory or pull out victories in the last 2 weeks to finish 5-0 in league. That would be amazing. But the turmoil, the turmoil would be amazing. I'm kind of rooting for it. I hate to say it, La Quinta and Rancho and Los Amigos fans, but just think about the craziness. If we had 4 teams tied at the top, they're at 3-2. It would just be amazing. In the last year of the Garden Grove League, how can you not kind of want that a little bit? Let's take a look at the latest Cal Preps ratings. Look at that. The logos are good on that one. They all match up. Garden Grove ahead of the pack with a -12 rating. Pacifica, -14. La Quinta ahead of the pack here in the Garden Grove League, followed by Los Amigos, Rancho, Bolsa, and Santiago. Tonight, man, we're going to have a great one for you. We're going to have a fun game. I said that 2 weeks ago when Rancho was here taking on the Lobos, and it ended up being an exciting game. It ended up being a one-score game. So sometimes I'm right, sometimes I strike gold. Who knows? It might be an exciting game one more time tonight, and I have a feeling that the next 2 weeks, next week when we cover Rancho and Loera, is going to be an exciting game. And I'll tell you what, that La Quinta Bolsa game is going to be one for the ages. You are not going to want to miss that one. We've been usually waiting until the week of to announce our games, but I can safely say that next week we will have a doubleheader live here from Bolsa. Rancho hosting Loera, and the Matadors visiting team against La Quinta, but here. And that could be for league champions all around. Like Oprah, you get a league championship, you get a league championship, you get a league championship. We don't know. You have to tune in. It all depends tonight. It starts tonight. If Bolsa can get a victory tonight and send Los Amigos to 2-2 in league, then it's just going to be crazy. And imagine if Rancho beats La Quinta tomorrow and sends La Quinta to 3-1, and then next week you've got 3-1 La Quinta against 3 and it would be 3-1. Yeah, it would be 3 and you get it. You get it. Maybe we can't finish with a big tie, but you know what? It's still going to be chaos in these last 2 weeks. I'm excited. I'm excited to call this game tonight. We've seen Los Amigos a few times this year. We haven't seen Bolsa since August, but we know the players tune in. They're big fans of the show, big fans of the broadcast. They can't tune in tonight. They're out on the field. So tell everyone. Tell everyone that we've got high school football here. Garden Grove League action on YouTube. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be awesome. So just come around. Just come around and watch. Watch some good football. Right, Kaylin? Got Kaylin here with me. Got Vincent there on the sideline, manning the sideline camera. Dave Mameli, athletic director of the district, is going to be joining us in just a little bit. He's over at La Quinta, CIF girls volleyball action. I'm sure he's going to bring us the updates and let us know what's going on. We've got about 9 minutes here, a little bit over, close to 10 minutes left until the game starts. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm ready. We'll be back with you in just a little bit. This is, once again, Garden Grove Unified School District Athletics High School Football. This is the pregame show. See you in a bit.
AKA JoJo. JoJo is being escorted by sister, John Wynn, his brother, a whole host of them. His favorite memory is playing football at Bolsa is building a bond and connection with teammates and coaches who he calls his family. Next, Naylin Mai. Naylin is being escorted by her grandmother, Lily May, her grandpa, Robert Pointer, her aunt, Elena Lole, uncle, Alex Lole, and siblings. Her favorite memory of playing football at Bolsa was when all the girls got in at the same time against Century. Daniel Munoz. Daniel being escorted by Diana Trujillo, his mother, Jose Aguilar, his father, and a whole host of other people. His favorite memory of playing football at Bolsa is when they won the league championship his sophomore season, making it 4 years back-to-back, winning the JV league title. David Wynn. He's being escorted by a whole bunch of people. That's his mom. So Joanne, his favorite memory of playing football at Bolsa is the bus ride home after beating Loera.
So, I just have to get back on here and break down this scenario just one more time because I was a little bit off. So I want to make sure that I kind of correct myself. So if Bolsa loses tonight, they'll be at 2-2 in league, and if they win next week, they'll finish at 3-2. If La Quinta loses tomorrow, and next week, they'll be at 3-2. If Rancho wins tomorrow, and of course they'll have to win tomorrow to beat La Quinta. If they win tomorrow, they beat La Quinta, and then they lose next week somehow to Loera, they'll be at 3-2. The Lobos, if they lose tonight, and then win next week, they'll be at 3-2. So that's the scenario. So Bolsa can't win both games. Something's got to give for Bolsa. There's a lot of pieces going on here, but I'm telling you, if you're a fan of just things that are just wild, then you're rooting for the turmoil. If you're a Santiago fan, if you're a Loera fan, I know you're rooting for turmoil. You got to be rooting for turmoil. Why not? If you're a La Quinta fan, you hope your team wins out. If you're a Rancho fan, you hope that somehow La Quinta finishes with 2 losses and Los Amigos finishes with 2 losses and Bolsa finishes with 2 losses. It can't happen, but that's what you hope. I'm hoping for turmoil. I love just seeing all of our teams this year, but I'm hoping for turmoil. Why not? I like a little bit of chaos in life. But we got to get through here tonight, and I know it's going to be a close game. I don't think we're going to have one of those games where someone wins by 2 touchdowns. We haven't had that in the Garden Grove League other than when teams play Bolsa. So, I mean, not Bolsa. When the teams play Loera, apologize, Bolsa fans. When they play Loera, it's going to be good. It's going to be great. Garden Grove League action right here on Garden Grove Unified School District Athletics High School Football. It's the countdown show. 2 weeks left in the season. It feels like yesterday we were just in week 0 here setting up for Savannah and Bolsa. And we're all the way through almost to the end of it. It's been a fun ride, our 2nd year. So let people know that there's football on right now. Let's get these views up. Bolsa fans, I know you're not going to be outdone by the Los Amigos fans from the other week and the Rancho fans. That was one of our most highly viewed broadcasts. You're certainly not going to want to lag behind the La Quinta fans. I mean, I'm sure the La Quinta fans are going to flood the stream next week, so you might as well just try and set a record here tonight. Get 2,000. You don't want your rival to get more fans tuning in than you do. I mean, that's your rival. That would just be, I would be a little bit embarrassed. So just try and get people here. You got 36 in here so far. If you 36 told 2 people to tell 2 people, then that would be a lot more than 36. I can't do the math because I'm not a math person, but I'm sure it would be 36 times 2 times 2, which would be 64 times, no, 72 times 2. We're having fun here. It's High School Football Friday. Senior night for Bolsa. Big game. Lobos, Matadors. League championship implications on the line, perhaps, maybe. Now I'll really give you guys a break. I'll be back in a bit.
Their favorite memory is helping the football team and watering down the players and dancing to the music and tying the knot. Christopher Zamora, being escorted by Julie Zamora, Maria Rosario, his mother, Alexander Zamora, his brother, Luis Zamora, the other brother, and Edward Zamora, the other brother. Favorite memory of going around in locker rooms after practice. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the senior football players. Give them a round of applause. Thank you, gentlemen, for all the time and energy you devoted to Bolsa Grande football. And we have our senior band members. All right, on to Win, escorted by Christine Win. Jacob Venezuela, being escorted by Keith and Daniel. Ethan Pham, being escorted by Tai Dao, Killen Liu, and Chung Dao. Abby Verdadero, being escorted by Anthony Wynn. Albert Wynn, being escorted by Ann Chong. Vivian Quinn, being escorted by Benjamin Quinn. Angeline Ruan, being escorted by Kayla Williamson. And Caroline Bui, being escorted by Neve Nguyen and Lynn Doe. Thank you, members of the band, for spending so much time again doing things for Bolsa Grande and for the football team and the band. Okay, speaking of which, band, when are you going to do the national anthem? You ready to rock and roll? Good? Mr. Miller, are you ready? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this time we would ask that you please stand and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem.
great rendition of the national anthem there by the Matador Marching Band led by Mr. Miller. So here we go. We are getting ready. We've got the captains walking out onto the field. At least the Lobo captains are out there. I'll get you numbers as soon as I can. From here, I can see number 13, Miguel Radia. We've got number 87, Alejandro Carrillo. Probably number 2, Mason Navarro, who's got his jersey tucked under his shoulder pads. And number 23, Pedro Hernandez, getting ready to go out there for the Lobos. Right now we've got the Matador captains coming up, of course. Senior quarterback Ethan Wynn. Let's see, followed by here, let's see, it looks like number 60, Mohamed Matus. Joined by number 10, friend of the broadcast, Joseph Jojo Lee. And finally joined there by number 23, running back David Nguyen, who we interviewed last year before the season started. We're getting close to game time here. All right, so here we go as the captains are introducing themselves to each other. Let's get that sideline camera going. Here we go. Nice little view there. The coin flip is up. Let's see. It looks like Bolsa has won the toss, and they are going to want to receive the ball. That shot brought to you by, well, we don't have sponsors, so it's not really brought to you by anyone. Here we go. Matador is going to start this game off with the football. Let's go ahead and get into some game time action. Here we go. It's no day like game day. Let's see how the Matadors start off the game here. We haven't seen them since week 1. Lobos, we've seen them a few times, so we kind of know what they can do. Although this is a very different Los Amigos team than the one that we saw against Cabrillo and Viewpoint, as Mason Navarro has made his return to the football field, which is awesome to see. They're a star quarterback. He's the reason why I figured that they would win the league this year, but he went down with a few injuries, or with an injury there at the start of the year. So we've got the rosters here updated, a nice updated Los Amigos roster, thanks to Coach Galbraith. And the Matadors are coming out onto the football field. Here we go. We've got a great atmosphere. We got the Lobo, the Bolsa band, the Matador band here to our left. So you're going to hear that beautiful noise here. Mr. Miller has them on point. So it's going to be a fun night. Here we go. I can't wait. I'm on my feet right now. And I'm ready. Matadors are ready. The Lobos are ready. Make sure that you're sharing this out with your neighbor, with your friends, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, your grandma, your godparents, your veterinarian, your mailman. Go to the neighbor, knock on their door. Tell them to spend the evening with David Mora here on Garden Grove Unified School District Athletics High School Football. Week 9 action, Garden Grove League. Here we go, folks. Matadors getting ready to get this kick. Kicking the ball for Los Amigos, number 13, Miguel Radia, back deep to return for the Matadors are 2 numbers that I cannot see right now. But we will try and get numbers called for you the best as we can. Radia lines up, getting ready to kick this ball off. Nice kick. That's going to be received at about the 20-yard line. Taking up to the 25, still on his feet to the 30. Try to get that number for you. We don't have the big screen here today, so getting numbers is going to be a lot more difficult. It was someone with a 20 number on the return. All right, so let's go. Let's see how the Matadors do here on their first drive of the game. See what they can do and see how they can set the tone here early. Three wide receivers, two backs in the backfield there with Ethan Wynn switching things around. Got Rudy Carrillo and David Wynn with him back. Handoff to Wynn to the right side. Gets to the second level of that Los Amigos defense. Gain of about 5 yards on the play. Calling it a gain of 6. Matadors hurry up offense there, not letting the Lobos get set. Three wide receivers. Fake the handoff, pass out to the left. That's going to be a first down, still on his feet. It's a beautiful little swing pass out there to number 3, Rudy Carrillo. Matadors putting together a nice little drive so far after 2 plays here as they get the ball already at their own 47-yard line. Running quickly again. Ethan Wynn fakes a handoff, takes it to himself, or takes it for himself around the left side. Nothing going there as he's brought down by Rocco Rivera. It's going to bring up second down and about 8 yards here for the Matadors. Three wide receivers again for the Matadors. Pass out to the right side. That's complete. Gain of about 3 yards on the play, but a big boom put on the receiver. Looks like number 5, Mark Navarro, on the reception. It's going to bring up third down and 5 for the Matadors, who once again are trying to run an up-tempo offense to keep the Lobos from being able to get set there. 4 wide receivers for the Matadors, single back. Wynn drops back to pass, tucks it and runs, sees some opening. He's got a first down and some. Get it taken down over at the Matador 31-yard line. Looks like they're going to mark him maybe at the 30 or the 29. So that's a first down for the Matadors as they are nicely in Lobo territory. Snap, handoff to the right side. David Wynn. That's about a gain of 7 yards on the play. Nice run on second down. Matadors doing a good job here early on their first drive, driving the ball and getting a good chunk of yardage as they are now deeper into Lobo territory. Once again, 4 wide receivers, single back for Ethan Wynn, getting ready to take the snap. Drops back to pass, feels some pressure, dumps it over the middle. Looks like to David Wynn, going to get maybe to the line of scrimmage and nothing more, and that's going to bring up third down. Crowd a little quiet right now, but I'm sure if the Matadors can get in the end zone, they're going to make some noise. Here we go, 4 wide receivers again, single back for Wynn. Carrillo in motion. Wynn drops back to pass, rolls out to his left, decides to run it to the left side, goes backside. He's got some room. He's at the 15, still on his feet at the 10, inbounds still at the 5. Extra effort, gets all the way down to the 3-yard line. That's going to be first and goal for the Matadors. Beautiful run there by Ethan Wynn. And the Matadors are knocking right there on the door of the end zone again. Quick to the line of scrimmage, handoff up the middle. Lobo defense stout on that play. That's going to bring up second down. So here we go, let's go. Matadors with their second shot here. Pass. That's going to be a touchdown for the Matadors. Matadors now taking an early lead here. The extra point is good. So Matadors driving down the field on their first drive, taking an early 6-0 lead here. So let's see how the Lobos can answer. The Matadors just came out firing on all cylinders. They're running, passing, taking an early 6-0 lead here. First drive touchdowns is always something that you want to see as a coach. Set the tone early, get your team into the ball game before the other team has a chance to even settle in. The way they were running that up-tempo offense, not giving the Lobos enough time to kind of read the play and get their guys set, it paid off for them on that first drive. Matadors getting ready to kick the ball off back deep to return for the Lobos. Number 13, Miguel Radia, and it looks like number 30, Isaac Galindo. That kick over to Radia. Let's see what he can do with it at the 20, the 25, the 30. Goes to the outside, gets to the 35, still on his feet at the 40, still driving, gets taken down at about the Lobo 43-yard line. Nice little return of about 20-plus yards on that kickoff return, and the Lobos will be starting with the ball at their own 40-yard line. Again, let's see how the Lobos respond to that Matador drive. That was a beautiful drive. That was a drive that set the tone. The Matadors are just going to come out and do what they got to do here. High formation for the Lobos, 2 wide receivers. Pitch out to the right side. Galindo on the carry gets a gain of about 7 yards. It's going to bring up second down here for the Lobos. High formation, 2 wide receivers one more time. Navarro with the pitch over to the right side. Galindo one more time. Actually, I don't believe that was Galindo. Let's see what number that was. No, that was Galindo. Lobos pick up the first down. Again, I formation for the Lobos now at the running back position. Pedro Hernandez, number 23, he gets the pitch to the left side, takes it up the middle. Gets a gain of maybe, actually they're going to give him a solid spot on that ball. It's a gain of about 4 yards. It's going to bring up second down and 7, so they're calling it a gain of 3. Here we go again, Lobos this time. 4 wide receivers, Navarro in shotgun formation. Looks like Raul Cruz in the backfield there with him. Oh, beautiful play there. Who was that for the Matadors? Actually, that tricked me. That was number 22. I thought I had the ball, Raul Cruz. He didn't. It was a fake, it was an option play that Navarro kept for himself and got himself a gain of about 2 yards on the play, calling it a gain of 3. It's 3rd and 4 here for the Lobos. A good option play will trick everybody, and it got me. Again, Lobos in shotgun formation, 4 wide receivers. Navarro keeps it himself to the right side, gets the first down, still on his feet, carries that ball all the way to the Matador 24-yard line before he's taken down. And the Lobos returning the favor and putting together a nice drive of their own for their first drive of the game. Looks like we're going to have ourselves a nice little back and forth here. Got a single back formation now. Trips right, bunch for the Lobos. Navarro under center. Pitches that ball out to the right side to Cruz. He's still on his feet. He breaks through. He's at the 10, gets taken down, but we've got flags on the play. If that stands, that's a first down for the Lobos, but let's see what the call is going to be. Looks like that play will be coming back. So Lobos now first and about 15. So not going the way that they want to be going here as they lose 5 yards with that penalty after a beautiful gain there. Here we go. They're just going to come out in that same formation. Trips right bunch, single back formation. Navarro under center. Takes the snap, hands it off to the left side to number 23. Another beautiful play. Still on his feet at the 10, at the 5. An even better play than the one before that as number 23, Pedro Hernandez, picks up the first down and gets the Lobos well within red zone territory as they now have the ball at about the 5-yard line. Lobos hurrying up now to the line of scrimmage, looking to return the favor again, give the Matadors a taste of their own medicine with a little bit of up-tempo. Pitch to the left side, still on his feet, still on his feet. And let's see. We're going to have a touchdown Lobos, I believe. Yep, that's a touchdown Lobos. Let's see if my graphic's going to load, and for some reason it's not. And I think I know why. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all of my graphics here and move them to the outside. A little bit of production work on the fly here. There we go. I think I did it. Maybe not. Anyway, it's 6-6, and I forgot to change that little graphic there. So you'll see green and orange instead of black and blue. So let's see if the Lobos can tie it up with the field goal here or the extra point. And actually, it's 7. It's 7-7. I forgot to give the Matadors their extra point, so we'll give it there, and we'll give it there. Game tied 7-all here. Crowd a little bit sleepy tonight. It's been a long week, I guess, right, Kaylin? But, you know, we got some football here. I don't know. It's a might just sit back and read a book right now. Again, a kickoff for the Lobos, number 13, Miguel Radia. Still got to get those numbers of those Matador returners. Like I said, it's hard to see from up here. I don't have my big screen. Now the crowd making a little bit of noise. Just got to keep it up. Sustain it for longer than, 45 seconds there. Ball received at about the 11-yard line, taken to the left side. Returner gets the ball to at least a 25, still on his feet at the 30, taken down. That was number 11 on the return. So we've got a number for you, Mikey Haley. The return of about 19 yards on the play or on the return. Yeah. All right, so here we go. Matadors starting with the ball at their own 32-yard line. Lobos answered their first scoring drive quickly. Let's see what the Matadors do here on their second drive of the game. We've got 3 wide receivers, shotgun formation, 2 running backs back there with Ethan Wynn. He drops back to pass, throws it to the right side. That's going to be complete. Looks like to number 14. He's going to get maybe a gain of 1 or 2. That's Eddie Zarate on the reception. They're going to give him a gain of 1. That's going to bring up 2nd and 9 here for the Matadors. Chat, thank you for tuning in and participating. Wynn drops back to pass, has some time, still has some time. Has some time to throw that ball. That's going to be popped up into the air and out of bounds. He had a lot of time to kind of figure out where he wanted to go with that ball. It kind of looked like he was going to just tuck it in and run there, but nevertheless, that brings up 3rd down and 9 here for the Matadors. Four wide receivers for the Matadors. Trips left, single back. Wynn rolls out to his left, looks to pass, has a guy to the left side. That's going to be complete to number 3 for a 1st down. And taken down. That reception by Rudy Carrillo gets the Matadors into Lobo territory. So 1st down now at the Lobo 44-yard line or 43-yard line. Quick play, that reception to number 5. That's going to be complete as Mark Navarro gets himself about 6 yards on the play. We've got the downs all messed up on the field. Oh, there we go. Now it's all good. 2nd down and about 5 to go here. Again, Matadors hurrying up to the line of scrimmage. Trips left. They've got their bunch going on right now. Ethan Wynn drops back to pass. Has some time, takes his time. Is he going to run? Nope, he's going to roll out to his right. Now he's going to run. He's at the 40. He's got close to 1st down yardage there. We're going to mark him just short, so it's going to bring up 3rd and about 1 yard on the play. The Matador offensive line doing a very good job of keeping the Lobos out of the backfield. Something that the Vaqueros had a hard time doing a few weeks ago, but Matador line looks to be up to the task. Wynn hands that ball off, nice little spin move, and that's going to lead to nowhere. That's going to bring up 4th down on the play. Beautiful stop there by the Lobo defense. Spin move not really effective there. Matadors going for it on 4th down, though. You'd love to see it this deep into the, oh, well, there you go. 3 yards for the Matadors, 1st down. They didn't even have to run a play. We have an offsides on the Lobos. Gives the Matadors a fresh set of downs from the Lobo 29.5-yard line. There we go, the Matadors in a huddle, taking a little breather there. Yes, number 55 for the Matadors is a beast. Hand off to Wynn to the right side. Met at the line of scrimmage there by a host of Lobos. It's going to bring up 2nd down and about 10 yards, depending on where they spot this ball. See if they're generous. Oh, they're going to be generous and give them a little bit. Matadors again, trips left. Ethan Wynn drops back to pass, looks to his left, dancing a little bit, has a man open. That's complete to the left side at the 20, at the 15. Trying to see who caught that ball. So that ball was caught by number 8, Joey Sangittino. It's going to be a timeout, Lobos. I'll tell you what, Trey, LQ probably has the best chance to win league right now. However, they've got a big test coming up tomorrow against Rancho Alamitos, and I'll tell you, Rancho had 1 loss in league last year to the Aztecs, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to come out and give the Aztecs everything they've got to try and avenge that loss from last year. I'm sure that left a bad taste in their mouth. Rancho was just 1 point, I believe, away from having sole possession of the Garden Grove League Championship last year and had to share it with the Lobos. But either way, exciting league that we've got here. A nice write-up in the OC Register by reporter Michael Huntley talking about how the Garden Grove League is the most competitive league in Orange County, I believe he said. So something happened, actually nothing happened here. Ball at the Lobos 16-yard line. Matador is getting ready to take the snap. Trips right, 4 wide receivers, 1 back there for Ethan Wynn. David Wynn in motion. Fakes the handoff, drops back to pass, has the pressure. He's going to be taken down in the backfield. Big sack there by number 47 of the Lobos, Jesus Ruiz. It's going to bring up second down and about 20 yards here for the Matadors. It's the one instance where the Matador line wasn't able to keep Ethan protected on that one. Four wide receivers for the Matadors, 2nd and 20. Let's see what Ethan Wynn can do here. Drops back to pass, has the protection this time, has time to throw. He's got a man, number 5 in the end zone. It's going to be incomplete. Pass intended for Mark Navarro. Isaac Galindo on the coverage there. We've got 16 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. So this one went by quick. Probably have 1 or 2 plays left before the quarter ends. Brings up a 3rd down and 20 to go here for the Matadors. Four wide receivers again for the Matadors. Shotgun formation, single back. Carrillo in motion. Ethan Wynn drops back to pass, goes to his right side. He's got a man out of the hands of the receiver. That would have been a big play. That ball intended for, looks like maybe number 15 or number 14, Eddie Zarate. And that's going to bring up 4th down and 20 for the Matadors, who at this point and at this area of the field, you just might as well go for it. All right, so here we go, 4th down and 20. 10 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. Matadors had a wide open, not wide open, but had a play there. Ball out of the receiver's hands. A little trickery, a double reverse or a double pitch here. And they've got the 1st down and some. That's going to be a touchdown for the Matadors. Beautiful trick play. Coach Acosta dialing one up there. My goodness, that was amazing. Touchdown for the Matadors. We're going to have to manually hit our graphics here. Who knows what goes on sometimes. Let's see if they can tack on the extra point here. 1 second left to go still in the first quarter. Looks like we're going to have a possible timeout on the field. Oh, and actually we got a Matador down here. And he's up. Jogging off the field, actually, so that's a good sign to see there. Definitely a good sign because that was Ethan Wynn. Matador faithful probably sighing a big sigh of relief on that one. Kick is up, and the kick is good as we got stuck in the middle of the transition here. Let me add the extra point now before I forget. There we go. 14-7, Matador lead over the Lobos. So here we go. Let's see how the Lobos answer one more time. This will be most likely the last play before we end the first quarter. Back deep to return for the Lobos, number 13. Miguel Radia and number 30, Isaac Galindo. They're not kicking it to Radia that time. They're just going to let them have that ball at the 40. That's going to be an even better return, as that's going to get taken all the way up to almost midfield. You know, at that level of the kickoff return team, you don't really expect to get the ball. I know I'd be freaked out if I got the ball. I'd be like, you know what, I'm just here to try and get in someone's way. Got confirmation that my partner here, Dave Mameli, is on his way. He's listening to us in his car. Listening, not watching. We have to point that out. Dave is a responsible driver. He made sure to put listening. He didn't say watching. And yes, that brings us to the end of the first quarter here at Bolsa Stadium. The Matadors holding on to a one-score lead, 14-7 over the Los Amigos Lobos here in a game that has major league championship and playoff ramifications for both teams. I am David Mora, and you are tuned into Garden Grove Unified School District Athletics High School Football. And right now we've got a friend of the broadcast who just stepped into the booth here with us, and we'll get him situated and have him introduce himself right now when he gets a chance. There we go. There we go. We'll lower that a little bit.
Hello.
There we go. Bolsa Grande Athletic Director Scott Snyder here in the booth with us now. What do you think so far?
Well, it's not a whole lot of defense.
Not a whole lot. You know what, though? I mean, at least we're seeing what I figured was going to be an exciting game. And
yes.
If Dave was here, he would say whoever's going to have the ball last is going to end up winning this game, and that could very well, you know, be it.
It could be. I think all the teams in the league are you know, very comparable. So it's turning out, it's looking like it's going to be another close one.
Oh, evenly matched. You know, we just talked about, like last week, La Quinta edged, you know, Santiago by 6 points. They beat, you know, Santiago lost to Bolsa by 6 points.
Right.
Yeah, they lost to Rancho by, you know, 9 points, but still, you know, you got single digits here.
Yes. You know, it makes for exciting games for sure. It makes my hair turn gray, but other than that, it's, and the kids are engaged and the fans are engaged. It's been a fun year.
And, you know, Dave's been calling it all year. He said it was going to be such a close race and such an exciting race. And, I mean, it's, you know, we talked about it earlier. We could have a tie at the top, you know, 4 teams at 3-2.
Although that would be crazy.
I'm rooting for that situation. Oh, that pass is caught. Deep play by number 30 there for the Lobos, Isaac Galindo. So the Lobos now getting into the passing groove.
Well, we're hoping that there's not a whole bunch of teams tied at 3-2. I guess
you're hoping. So you're hoping that you guys ride it out.
Yes, we're hoping that we can come out victorious tonight and have a huge game next week.
You have to see, even if you have a huge game next week. Well, actually, no. Well, see, that's the tough part. There's going to be a tie at the top.
Right.
No matter what happens here. Lobos now, a beautiful run there by number 22. Raul Cruz, as the Lobos are now at the 1 yard line, it looks like. So, yeah, I was trying to do the scenarios in my head. So, if you guys lose tonight, win next week, 3-2. Los Amigos would have to lose next week. They'll be at 3-2. La Quinta would have to lose both games, be at 3-2. Loera would have to pull off the upset of, I wouldn't even say the century. And it could happen because La Quinta did it last year. And then Rancho would finish at 3-2. So it can happen, but the most likely scenario, and we're covering the La Quinta Bulls of the game next week. So if they're both in there at, you know, it would be 3-1.
Yes.
That game would be, I mean, it would probably be the biggest Bolsa La Quinta game since maybe the mid-'80s. As that's going to be a touchdown here for the Lobos. And let's see if we can get our graphic to play. It won't, but we're going to get the points added up anyway. And we'll do it by hand here. It's been that kind of night, Scott. I don't know why.
Technology these days.
Yeah, you know, it just, sometimes it's my friend and sometimes it's not. But here we go again. Like you said, the defense is just kind of taking it. It's a Thursday. You know, maybe they're going to show up tomorrow. But tonight we've got ourselves already 27 points here, and we're just 34 seconds into the second quarter. So high-scoring game here so far. And Lobo's going for 2 here. I guess Coach Guess understands how this game might go.
It's a big game for both teams. You know, both teams were super excited about this game.
You know, last year, Bolsa dropping a tight one to Los Amigos. They actually came back and made it a game towards the end. You were up there with us over at Garden Grove. And I'm sure they've got a little bit of that on their mind. You know, you wouldn't think that we've got a big game going on, though. I mean, there are a lot of people here, but everyone's just, it's a relaxed atmosphere. It
is, you know. Maybe we have some fans, you know, arriving late. Maybe Dodger fans showing up a little bit late.
We're going to go to that sideline camera. Look at Vincent's got himself a good view there of the kickoff. It's going to be received at about the 12-yard line. Actually dropped and picked up. Taken at the 20. Still on his feet, but not getting much else. He's going to be brought down at about the Matador 23-yard line. So how did the other fall sports do here at Bolsa?
Our girls tennis team played today. They played La Quinta. They were a game behind La Quinta, last game of the league season, and they came up just a little bit short. So they'll finish second at 8-2 in league.
Okay.
And gave La Quinta a good run for their money today. Our girls volleyball team finished out their season last week. They missed the playoffs, but the encouraging part was that they went to 5 games against the undefeated Quinta girls volleyball team. So,
you know, that's always good to see. That's a good momentum builder for the next year. And this is a big run here by the Matadors. 15-yard gain on that one by David Wynn, it looks like.
And everybody was like, wait a second, the girls volleyball team didn't make the playoffs, because it's a surprise, because you know, they've done so well for so long.
Right.
Coach Rebecca Wagner, you know, does a really, really good job with our boys and girls volleyball program.
Ethan Wynn looking like Michael Vick out there in that number 7, still on his feet, but getting just to the line of scrimmage. He's had a lot of time back there tonight to just kind of set up and figure out what he's going to do. You know, I think it's always a surprise when you see a program that just has this sustained kind of success, and all of a sudden you see them now, they're like, whoa. You know, we're looking at that now, you know, at Garden Grove. Garden Grove is 2-6 right now in football. And, I mean, you'd have to go way back to, you know, find out the last time they were 2-6, probably 30 years at least. Ethan Wynn shifty, getting out of a sure sack, still on his feet. Getting the first down. What a beautiful run. And actually, do we have a fumble on the play? That's Lobo football. Wow. That was a beautiful run, too. I mean, they had him in the backfield, and he bounced that out. That's a tough break for the Matadors. Now that 2-point conversion's looking a little bit more interesting. Maybe
lots of ball game left.
You know what? I mean,
I think the winner of this game will be in the 30s.
The Rancho Los Amigos game was really exciting. I mean, that one looked like it could get just at the snap of a finger, could go either way. And I have a feeling this is how this one's going to be. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a takeaway here by the Matadors. It won't be on that play, though. Wow, beautiful run. Big gain about 20 yards there. That ball carried by number 22, Raul Cruz. So, you know, looking over, you guys have the lights on here.
Yes.
Seeing the stripes in the varsity baseball field from this vantage point, I mean, that's big league, Scott. That is a beautiful looking yard out there.
It is. It is. A couple of weeks ago, I went up and stood on the visitors' bleachers over there and just looked out and saw our softball field, our JV soccer field in the back, and then the baseball field. It's beautiful.
You know, shout out to the Garden Grove Unified School District grounds crews who, you know, are out here every week at all of our schools taking care of not only the turf fields but the grass fields and the diamonds, the softball fields, the soccer fields.
Yes, I'm looking forward to a night game coming up. I know when I was in high school, we only played one night game a year, and it was at Redondo High School. They were the only school, or actually two, Redondo and El Segundo.
The only ones with lights.
And it took a while to get used to, for sure.
You know, yeah, we were over at Pacifica, and they were going to have their first fall softball game. And even the coach was talking about how it was going to take some time to get used to. And that's going to be a touchdown here for the Lobos. Number 30 again, taking into the end zone, Isaac Galindo. They're going to extend their lead here. It's going to be 21-14 for the Lobos. Wow, not without what I was expecting here. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting to see our baseball teams, you know, see how many of them take advantage of playing at night. Well, did they have the temporary lighting last year or no?
We did not have
Okay.
temporary lighting.
I know Garden Grove did, and I know on their schedule they did have some night games, but I'm not sure with all the rains and just that terrible spring weather we had if they were able to actually get them completed.
We played them there at night
at
game.
night, right, yeah. So
our kids got a chance to play under the lights.
that's actually one where I'm like, we need to try and broadcast that one, but it's just the logistics of trying to do it. Lobo's going for 2 again, and it looks like they got it one more time. So Lobo's now taking a 9-point lead. 9 minutes and 18 seconds left to go here. David Mora here on Garden Grove Unified School District Athletics High School Football. Joined in the booth here by Bolsa Grande Athletic Director Scott Snyder. So, yeah, how was that night game?
I did not go to that
You
game,
didn't?
but our kids were super excited about it. They said it was just awesome to play at night. You know, kind of felt like they were
Major
professional
league, right?
baseball
Yeah.
players.
And who do we have now joining us?
Guy's gonna catch his breath here.
Dave Mamali running up these bleachers. Lucky we're not at Garden Grove High School. He would have pulled a muscle on those steep bleachers. So, Dave, let me kind of catch you up to speed. First drive, Matador score. I know you were. I don't know how much you listened or heard.
Yeah, so I was at La Quinta Girls Volleyball, and so I was trying to watch the stream while watching volleyball.
Oh, that ball on the ground. Making a nice return out of it, though, so not bad. So, yeah, a little bit of a back-and-forth action.
No defense, right? Yeah.
There's a lack of defense, as Scott pointed out. Well, except for the Lobos on that last Matador drive, were able to get the ball away from Ethan Wynn, who had a beautiful Michael Vick-esque play on that play. They were able to go down and score. Lobos now electing to just go for 2 because I think Coach Guest knows that this game is going to be tight.
Close,
He's
yeah.
not going to want that, extra point being the difference. So, yeah, here we go.
Okay.
How did La Quinta do
So
in volleyball?
La Quinta won in 3 sets against Beverly Hills. They'll be moving on to the second round for girls volleyball.
And we talked about, Scott, your girls took them to 5 sets. See
Yes.
that? That's
Yeah, kind of surprised, and I'm sure Scott mentioned that Bolsa girls volleyball didn't make the playoffs this year for the first time in a long time.
David Wynn running hard on that play, getting a first down. Yeah, talk about that, when programs sustain success and then that 1 year where they have off, it's a little bit surprising. Everyone's kind of like, whoa, what's going on? They rebound, they come back and start it up again. Every team's got to have that one reset year.
Yeah, we had we're in league championship season here, so we had 2 tennis league championships today after this play.
Another big run here by the Matadors. Another first down.
Yeah. Yeah, Garden Grove girls tennis won league for the 12th time in a row.
Yep, that's
So
a
they are
juggernaut
dominant.
program.
I know David Moore will like this, but that is their 27th league title, which is now the most in Garden Grove for all
Wow.
of their sports. Garden Grove High School.
You got to love those stats. Ethan Wynn taking himself.
Big hit. And then speaking of girls tennis as well, La Quinta girls tennis for the 3rd year in a row, the league champions of the Garden Grove League.
Congratulations to them.
Again, we are.
He said that with a smile on his face. I have to give it to him. Ethan Wynn looking to pass. Has a lot of time again. This time lets it go. David Wynn to the right side at the 20. Still on his feet before he's brought down at about the Lobo 16-yard line. 16.
As I'm sure you've mentioned multiple times tonight, yeah, both of these teams here playing for their championship lives.
Yep.
Both still in it, obviously.
Talked about the nightmare scenario, depending on who you are. Everyone tied at 3-2.
So there. Again, as I'm sure you mentioned, the dream scenario with Coach Snyder here would be, Bolsa winning tonight, going 3-1, and then facing off against La Quinta next week for the league championship. That would be a huge game. We'll be broadcasting that game regardless.
Oh yeah, for sure. Already dropped that gem earlier. We'll be here for Rancho and Loera and Bolsa La Quinta next week. Talking to our Rancho coach yesterday, I told him, I said, your team better be here in the stadium rooting for Bolsa this week and next week. So you have to be the biggest Matador fans these next few weeks.
Well, that game next week is for bragging rights and a rivalry game. So it's always big, and that would just amplify things.
Oh yeah, that would be just.
Yeah, we talked about that.
We
talked about that, David Moore and myself, the last couple weeks, that if that's the scenario that plays out, we might have more people in the stadium than we've had for a decade or more.
Oh, yeah.
For any game that's been played here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's one where, if that, we might even have to do a little, lead-in kind of show during the start of the week to get people hyped up about it. You might even get the register, one of the register guys here.
Oh, I don't know.
I didn't say Fry or Albano. Maybe,
Huntley or somebody.
Huntley or Delgado. Shotgun formation for the Matadors. Win. Again, a lot of time. Just relaxing. Lets that ball go. He's got a man.
Got him.
Oh, beautiful play. Pass broken up there by number 17 of the Lobos. Joshua Batista saving his team a touchdown there.
That was 4th down, right?
And that was 4th down. That's going to be Lobo football. So, this drive kind of huge, I guess you could say. 6 minutes and 24 seconds left to go here in the second quarter. Of course, a lot of ball game left to be played. But you don't want to go down by 16 points. Both teams running some up-tempo here, trying to tire out each other's defenses, and it's been kind of working. Navarro keeps it himself to the left or to the right side.
Yeah, we've mentioned for weeks now about Mason Navarro. Glad to see that he's looking healthier and healthier each week. He's obviously a big part of what Los Amigos has done. And to be honest, if he's healthy, he's probably the best player in the league, I would imagine.
I know someone who would have something to say about that.
Well, yeah,
he's number 7.
Yeah, Ethan Wynn, you could absolutely make that argument as well, too. As you've alluded to tonight, he is. Anytime he's not finding something in the air, he's finding something on the ground.
Navarro again to the right side, still on his feet, gets the first down and gets that ball all the way up to the Lobo 31-yard line. We were talking about this Lobo team hasn't been a consistent team that we've seen until tonight. Against Cabrillo, it wasn't the same as it was against Viewpoint, and of course it wasn't the same as as when we saw against Rancho.
Yeah, that's been the effect of the injuries.
And I believe Intel has told me that Rancho has made some personnel changes as well, so that's going to be a different team that we'll see next week against Loera, and La Quinta will see a different Rancho team than we saw a few weeks ago against Los Amigos.
I'll be at the Rancho La Quinta game tomorrow.
I will be expecting some good updates from that one. I'm going to be texting you, hey, what's going on, what's going on? Navarro again to the right side. I don't want to jinx either team, Dave, but we've actually had a pretty clean game. The referee's not really throwing too many flags. I think we've had 1 or 2.
I don't want to jinx it either. But, we had a tough one last week against Rancho, but the one thing I went out of that game with was just the lack of turnovers, taking care of the football. We had one earlier in this game, but that's a definite improvement from years past.
Lobo rushing attack is doing a fantastic job right now as they have themselves another first down. And I think it's imperative when you've got teams that are this close in talent level to take care of the football. And I think that was the one thing, Rancho and Los Amigos is they both kind of, I think they tied in the turnover battle. But that was one where, Lobos turned the ball over and Rancho got a score. Then that's how the Lobos got back into the game off an interception. So turnovers are the difference maker here. Matador defense looking to try and get one here. That'll kind of slow things down for the Lobos, who will be getting the ball to start the second half.
Good stop there.
Beautiful tackle. Tackle by number 11. We'll get that number because I do have a nice updated roster.
Mikey Haley Jr.
There we go. Look at that. Scott on it. I love it.
Also, he's a sophomore. He was a varsity baseball player as a freshman.
And that's good to hear a sophomore. So, that's someone that we'll be hearing from or hearing about in the next few years.
Yes.
Lobo is probably going to keep the conservative here. Navarro under center, pitched out to the left side. It's going to be a first down depending on where they spot it as Pedro Hernandez gets the carry. And yep, they're already marching those chains down the field. Dave, I mentioned, I don't know if you heard me mention the baseball field stripes that you can see from up here with the lights on. Look at that.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh, beautiful.
You know what, I'll have to say this. When I was at Pacifica, they probably had the best grass, but the outfield was never that it might be
nice.
different now, but that looks beautiful from here.
Too bad we don't have the Goodyear blimp here tonight.
I know, right? Those beautiful aerial shots.
Yeah, the aerial shots.
We don't know where those come from, but they're amazing.
And they just get sent down here somehow. Yeah, beautiful. I'll tell you, I work with our facilities department and our M&O, maintenance and operation, and I tell them all the time, I really think our baseball and softball coaches do a great job across our district. They really put in the extra time and work to take care of their field. I don't think you can go to any one of our schools and look at our baseball and softball fields and say, oh, that's subpar. They all do a great job.
Oh, yeah, they take time.
That Bolsa field right now is above and beyond.
Oh, yeah. You never see the outfield. You see the infield, but for the outfield to look that immaculate in October.
Right, yeah.
So our equipment guy, Damian Noriega, does a really good job out there, and our baseball coach, Greg Johnston, spends countless hours out there. I think he's getting ready to seed the infield here soon.
That's what I do miss about being an athletic attendant, is being out there and being able to work on the baseball field and getting out there with the edger. And I used to get out there with an angle tool to make sure that all of my angles, matched up.
Yeah, it's tough work, but it's kind of peaceful as well too. You're out there kind of by yourself. Your time to think.
Throw on some classic rock and just go to town. Yeah. Second down and 8 to go here for the Lobos.
I like to do that at home. Right now I've got a diagonal cut on my grass in the front, and I get compliments from the dog walkers walking by. And I think I'm going to head out to the baseball field there. I got some ideas on some designs.
Here you go. Navarro drops back to pass, has a man to the right, number 10. Overthrown, just a little bit of too much mustard, as Adrian Ramirez was the intended receiver. But he had some room there. He would have had that ball deep in Matador territory. It's going to bring up 3rd and 8. 2 minutes and 14 seconds left to go here in the second quarter.
A quick update on
that's right. We've got Garden Grove and
I was going to say on girls volleyball
girls
playoffs.
volleyball.
Rancho Alamitos came in 2nd place this year in the Garden Grove League for girls volleyball. They had their first game tonight at Indio, and they did lose that game.
Ooh,
so
that's a long drive back.
Only have La Quinta left in the playoffs for girls volleyball.
4 wide receivers here for the Lobos. Navarro getting ready to take the snap. Drops back, has some pressure, has to let it go, but that's complete to number 23, Cruz. He's got the first down and some. Takes it to the left side, still on his feet. He's going to take that ball all the way up to the Matador 16-yard line. And actually, that was Pedro Hernandez. My apologies. Lobos now. 2 minutes and 3 seconds left to go. First down. Clock not stopped by the way, Dave. Clock not stopped. I want to point that out, which is something I always point out here on first downs now.
We should be getting the signal here from the officials. Doesn't look like it.
Nope. Lobo coaches don't seem to notice either, so I guess it's not too bad. trips left bunch here for the Lobos. Navarro keeps it himself, goes to the right side, tries to bounce it out, still on his feet. Still on his feet, makes a spin move. That's going to be a touchdown for the Lobos as they extend this lead even more. 29-14 Lobos.
Who opened with the ball? Who received?
The Matadors receive the ball, so Lobos get the ball back after halftime. Now, I have a feeling that at halftime, Coach Acosta is going to stress stopping them right out of the gate, because going down, whatever happens here on this extra point, I'm sure it's going to be a 2-point conversion that they're going to try for. I mean, you're looking at a lead that, while not impossible to come back from, certainly doesn't look fun on the scoreboard. And they are going for 2 again. Pitch out to the right side. They're going to get it again. 31-14. I don't think we expected this. I know I didn't.
Well, they got a lot of ball game left, so hopefully our coaching staff can make some adjustments, get these kids back locked in, and have a good, exciting second half.
I think so. I don't believe it's going to end up like this. I don't believe we're not going to see some Matador scoring. I know, hey, we've got 1 minute and 27 seconds left to go here. They could shrink this Lobo lead by the time the clock hits 0 for halftime. So let's see what they do here as Radia gets ready to kick the ball off deep. Now here's where the clock thing, it's like kind of like, oh, if it would have stopped, you probably would have had about 15 seconds extra.
So is that a new rule, Dave, or did they just miss something there?
Sorry, say that again. I was
the clock stoppage on first down.
Oh, no, it's still, yeah, you get a first down, they have to stop the clock to move the chains.
But it's not the first time we've seen that. It happened to Santiago and Rancho. Again, the kick just landing in front of the returner, getting taken down inside the Matador 20.
We'd mentioned that in previous weeks. Yeah, the NCAA now, they've changed their rules where the games are a little bit faster. They don't stop the clock for those first downs anymore. So you get under 2 minutes there. But give a quick shout out. We were talking about register reporters maybe coming next week. We do have a register reporter here tonight, David Delgado.
There we go.
So make sure you check out his Twitter feed. He's giving updates throughout the night as well. He'll get you dialed in on stats and whatnot, things that we don't necessarily cover. And he will have an article tonight on this game. So again, David Delgado from the Register. We'll see, maybe he get him a guest spot here at some point tonight.
Yeah, bring him up. We'll have him talk some shop. Ethan Wynn drops back to pass over to the left side. That's going to be complete. Still on his feet. So here we go.
Get out. Gotta get out.
Nope, stayed in bounds. Matador is, of course, going to rush up to the line of scrimmage here and get another playoff. And
good job by the referee stopping the clock on the first down right
the
there.
Clock is stopped.
It's
running again. It's running again. Ethan Wynn drops back to pass one more time. Has some time. Sidearms it over the middle.
Gotta take a timeout here.
It's going to get nowhere, though.
There we go. Coach takes his timeout. Coach Acosta.
Here's where we would have a sponsor.
Yeah.
You know, I would remember playing those old EA Sports Triple Play baseball games, like Triple Play 98, and I remember they had all of these fake sponsors. I'm like, I want to find like scripts for fake sponsors and just read them out.
Well, our game announcer over here usually says, make sure you take AP Psychology.
Yeah. That is true.
You know what? Since we mentioned AP, it's a nice segue to say that Bolsa was one of 4 schools to make the AP honor roll for schools. So I think it was Bolsa, Garden Grove, La Quinta, and I believe Santiago, all getting recognized for their AP program. So
great job.
Without even knowing it, Scott, you were able to
segue.
segue me into the big news.
I may or may not have known that.
I just got done writing the press release, so no one would blame you if you didn't know it yet. Everyone will find out soon enough.
I'd say I don't have the numbers in front of me, but yeah, talking about academics of our schools. Look at the U.S. News and World Report, the rankings of high schools, and look at our 7 high schools compared to our local districts, and you'll see that we are doing very, very well compared to other school districts, especially in Orange County.
Test scores also came out this week. The statewide testing in math and in English, Garden Grove outpaces the county and the state. Speaking about outpacing, Ethan Wynn just outpaced that Lobo defense to get himself a first down there.
Yeah, Ethan Wynn, it seems every time he doesn't have a receiver open, he finds a lane that he can get a big chunk of yardage, whether it's 10, 15, 20 yards.
You know, and I think at the start of the season when we did our interviews and our preseason videos, I think that's one of the things that he mentioned working on was being able to see the field a little bit better and kind of picking making his mind on what to do, and he's doing a good job of it here tonight, extending plays when he can. 38 seconds left to go here. Lobos up 31-14. Ethan Wynn drops back to pass, looks to his right, has a man over the middle. That's going to be caught for a first down. That's number 14 on the reception, Eddie Zarate. Matador is running up to the line of scrimmage. They have one timeout left. And they're just going to spike the ball to stop the clock.
Well, Ethan Wynn is in the right league to be able to see over the line. You know, he's about 6'1". The coaches said 6'2".
We talked, so I saw this earlier. Isaac Galindo, running back for Los Amigos, is listed at 5'3". When we were covering Santiago, I told Dave that Granados for Santiago was what, Dave? How tall are you?
Oh, yeah. So I'm about 6'3", and he was every bit of 6'4".
So I told myself I'm going to have to go, since you did the size with Granados, I'm going to have to go and measure myself up, against Galindo and make sure he's not pushing 5'5", because the 5'3" club is exclusive.
Yeah.
Yes. If you're 5'4" or 5'5", you just can't put that down on the roster. 19 seconds here left in the second quarter. 3rd and 10 for the Matadors, trailing the Lobos 31-14, looking to shrink this lead before halftime. Ethan Wynn rolls out to his left, has a man to the left. That ball overthrown is going to bring up 4th and 10.
When my basketball teams would travel and they would ask for our starting lineup and they would put position on there, I would just put 5 guards down there.
The Bolsa basketball program has been consistent since I was in high school. It's always a team that's kind of been up there.
We have a new coach this year, Fentress Wynn, who's a graduate of Bolsa Grande, so the boys are super excited. New coaching staff. The old coaching staff did a really good job preparing them, and now we have Coach Wynn to take over.
That throw over the middle, that's going to be intercepted. 9 seconds on the clock. Let's see what he can do. And look who that is, number 30, Isaac Galindo. That's not 5'3", Dave. There's no way.
No, but I'll tell you, they're on that pick. Galindo is a super speedy guy, and that could easily have turned into a pick six.
That was scary. So. Matador's kind of catching a break there. Let's see what
talking about Bolsa basketball, we were talking about Mason Navarro and Ethan Wynn, maybe being the best players in the league, but they also are probably the 2 front runners for the league athlete of the year. Because again, Ethan Wynn is a basketball player here for Bolsa, and Mason Navarro is a baseball player as well for Los Amigos. Yeah. So 2 multi-sport guys that are obviously the star quarterbacks for their schools, but also excel at other sports as well. We'll see how that league player of the year plays out.
Lobos is looking to pass, trying to take a shot deep. Ooh, that's going to be a sack there. As we're going to head into halftime, the Lobos are going to take a lead into the locker room, 31-14. We're going to take a little break here, but we'll be back with you in about 15 minutes or so right here on Garden Grove Unified School District Athletics High School Football Thursday.
really come together. The second song, featuring an oboe solo, is about their search to find the missing egg that will save all the people in Mondoland from destruction. And the third song is a scientific exploration by Alvin, the Chipmunks, and Sailor Moon as they try to find the key to solving all of the problems in Mondoland. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the sights and sounds of the Bolsa Grande Varsity Matadors. the fan guy, Mr. John Miller. Tonight's official attendance brought to you by the official attendance counters at Bolsa Grande High School. We can count them now. Tonight's official attendance comes in at 8,224. 8224. The Managers and the Logos both thank you for your attendance.
Welcome back from Bolsa Grande Stadium right here on the campus of Bolsa Grande High School. Lobo is holding on to a big 31-14 lead here at halftime. Joined now by friend of the broadcast, Los Amigos principal, Mr. Todd Nurk.
Hey, how's it going there, David? Good to be back.
It's good to have you, Mr. Nurk. It's always great to have you in the booth. And you came up at the right time. Your team's got a very nice lead. We had a Bolsa Grande AD Scott Snyder up here, and he had to. I think when he was up here, it was 14 to. I think it was 14-13 at that point, and then he leaves with a 31-14 deficit. So.
Yeah, he should have stayed. It was a very interesting first half. We started off, and we kind of thought it would be high scoring. These two teams both can score, and I've seen a lot of Bolsa scores this year, and they seem to be high scoring, and defensively maybe giving up some points too. And first drive of the game, that Bolsa offense moved it right down, and it's been a battle of the which defense can get a stop here. And fortunately, Los Amigos, we were able to get a turnover, get a stoppage on downs, made a couple two-point conversions. It was a really nice half, really encouraging half. We're very pleased on the visitor sidelines right now.
Definitely, it was very interesting for Coach Guest to go for too, when they were down, 13-14 or something. They were down 13-14.
Right.
To go for 2, I think he had the feeling like it's going to be one of those 1 point, 2 point games. Let's start getting ahead of it and getting points where we can early.
Yeah, I think he just kind of looked at it like, it's a value thing to do. We're running the ball really well. You see us, again, I'm not really, I never played the game, but, I watched a lot of football, of course, and we seem to be running the ball very nicely. He's running to the right side. And so I'm sure, when he lines up on the 3-yard line there, he feels like we got a better than 50-50 chance to punch it in. And he's run right on those 2-point conversions, and we were successful, I think, 3 times.
3
right?
times,
Right?
yeah. He got 3
for 3. And
points on that.
Pitch right both times, I think, right? That pitch and go to the right. So very effective and a good call by Coach.
And, we always say we never second-guess Coach Guess on the show. We always do. What he calls, and he's doing a very good job here tonight keeping his team alive in this very tight Garden Grove League Championship race. Of course, we talked about it earlier. La Quinta right now in full control of their own destiny. It all depends on what happens tomorrow against Rancho, who's going to be looking for their revenge after getting their only loss in league. Imagine you're able to hand La Quinta their only loss after they did it to you last year. So I'm sure Coach Enright and his staff are going to have his team ready tomorrow night. But here tonight, we've got plenty of ball game left to be played. Referee's adding some time. It's getting a little bit cooler. I feel the nice cold air coming through. Ethan Wynn's done a good job here for the Matadors, looking like Michael Vick. She's a little shifty. He's extending plays. Yeah. Matador line, they've had a few faults here tonight, but for the most part, they've been protecting him. Lobo's doing a very good job with their run blocking. Galindo getting a lot of yards. You had, Mason getting a lot of yards. So looking forward to a great second half here at Bolsa Stadium.
And I think as far as our possessions went, I think we scored every time we had the ball, right? Is that
I want to say, with 31,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you definitely did. And, you had some extra possessions in there with the 2 takeaways. So didn't get the score on the last possession.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Like
All right.
With the
and we get the ball here.
with technicality, yeah. That's one of those when you're playing Madden, you're like, darn it, I should have had all of them.
You got to take advantage of every possession, right?
Couldn't go down 98 yards in 1 second. What's going on?
Again, as you mentioned, Los is receiving the ball here to start the second half, right?
And that's big. I mean, I think now, your mindset is a little bit different. It can't be too lax, but you're not playing with maybe a large, as much of a sense of urgency that you would be playing with if you're up by 7 points.
Well, sometimes that's hard, as you're mentioning that. Yeah, if you found success on every possession that you had. It's hard to not let those thoughts creep in of, hey, we got this. We don't need to keep the pedal to the metal now. Like, we can just start cruising. And, it's only a 2-score game or 2-possession game here.
Yeah.
And, this is something that, again, obviously Bolsa can score in bunches.
Right.
But this is, I heard this on a college broadcast a while ago. They talk about the middle third of the game, and especially coming out of halftime is really the biggest part of the football game, when you can really tell, hey, what adjustments were made, how is it going to play out in the second half, and we're going to tell a lot from this first possession.
Yeah, and if you're Los Amigos and you come out and you score, you're feeling really good. If you're the Matadors and you come out and you get a big stop to get the ball back and then you score, then you're feeling really, really better than you were going into halftime. So.
And I'm sure Coach Guest talked quite a bit at half about opening up and establishing, continuing the game in the same fashion in this opening drive, because if they're able to do so, if they're able to take time off the clock, run the ball and punch it in, you're talking about Bolsa being in a big hole. But let's not forget, this Bolsa team was, second round, third round of CIF last year.
Yeah.
This is a very good team. I don't know how many people they lost from last year's team, but they got a lot of quality players out there. When you're down there on the field watching them, they got some big kids. They got good size. They got good athleticism. And, it's a dangerous team for sure. And they're right in the thick of this Garden Grove League race, too. So this is a quality matchup. And right now, a great first half for Lowe's.
Yeah, they do return some from that team. They did lose Food and Win, who was the league MVP. He was the best player in the league last year. But Ethan Wynn is obviously a big part of this year's team.
back by himself to receive the ball is Isaac Galindo.
Uh-oh.
That goes over him. He's going to pick it up at the 2-yard line. Let's see what he can do here. He's at the 10. Nothing but red jerseys in front of him. He's just going to get brought down.
You know, interesting. You saw on that kickoff, you saw Lowe spring up a lot of their defenders or their blockers up. They were worried about the onside kick there, and that actually makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, we didn't get stopped in the first half, and when you got that, if you don't have faith in your defense, you might try that. Now, Bolsa did kick deep, and it worked out well for them. A 10-yard line is a tough place to start, but hey, we're going to look at it as like we got a chance to milk more clock the longer we got to go.
You know, another thing too is you saw the kickoff earlier. I think after the second touchdown, the Matadors short kicked it to the second level of that Lobo return team to keep it out of Miguel Radia's paws, who is a really eclectic return guy there. So I think that was a little trickery on the Matadors and almost worked in their favor. That run going nowhere as Galindo is pushed out of bounds. Actually, they gave him a few yards. It's going to be probably 2nd down and 7. Actually, gave him 4 yards on that play, so a little bit of a generous spot there. Shotgun formation for the Lobos, trips left. Navarro keeps the ball himself. Keeping his feet going. Wow. Oh, he's going to be gone unless he can get off from behind at the 50, the 45, the 40, the 35. Brought down at the 32-yard line. Wow, it looked like he was done. That second effort, Dave, we always mention second effort.
Yeah, he broke 2 or 3 tackles there for sure, right at the line of scrimmage, and just kind of emerged from that.
And we have a Matador on the field here, down on the field. But yeah, that second effort, that's what did it.
Boy, that looked like he wasn't. Looked like we were looking about 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8 there, and he broke through. What a great run! He's a dual threat. You know, he's a great passer, but you've seen him tonight tuck it under again, going right most of the time tonight. And wow, that was a great run.
We don't like to jump to conclusions here on that, but maybe this player got caught up in that little bunch of players on that run. Is that both lines kind of getting in the mix there, but Navarro with that second effort ends up taking his team from the shadow of their own end zone all the way into Bolsa territory. Looks like number 32 for the Matadors, Dylan Nin, getting assisted off the field here. Hopefully he can get back in it.
And we'll see what this turns into. I always like touchdown saving tackles like we had there. You never know when those turn into a 3 and out or a turnover of some kind. And again, saving a touchdown, I know a lot of times that's what college scouts are looking for. They'll watch a game film and see, hey, who's giving up on a play.
It's that effort. Yep, that effort.
Trying.
That was a good job by that Matador defender to keep up with Navarro and get him here at the 30-yard line. High formation, pitch to the left side.
It looks like Bolsa, a lot of their pad levels pretty high on these tackles.
Oh, and we got a flag on the play, and that's a late flag, so that's going to be a big yardage flag there. Bolsa players motioning that it's on the Lobos, but let's see what the call is here.
Yeah.
Referees motioning too. Only the second flag, I believe, of the game, maybe the third. Personal foul. So again, mentally you got to stay in the game as well. You're deep in Matador territory. You just can't be giving them an assist like that.
Well, again, like we were talking about, that touchdown saving tackle. Now you're looking at it. They're back at midfield here.
Yeah.
That could be huge.
Oh yeah. Changes the complexion of things pretty big here. Lobos now back at the Matador 44-yard line. They need to get all the way up to the 21-yard line for a first down. And again, it changes up what you're going to do here. They were running the ball. Now it looks like maybe a passing down here. We got trips left for the Lobos, and yep, Navarro's going to pass to the left side. Ooh, dangerous pass intended for number 30, Isaac Galindo.
They're looking to get the ball to Galindo in space. He's very explosive, as you've seen, fast young man. And, you know, when he gets his hands on it in the corners, it's hard to get him from making the corner. So they were looking to try to do that at that time, but just pass a little bit off.
Yeah, tough situation here for Coach Guess, you know, in this down and distance where, you know, are you trying just to flip the field now at this point? Are you actually trying to get a first down? Are you trying to do it in 2 downs here? A lot of different ways this can go.
Yep, yeah, a turnover would be huge for the Matadors. 4 wide receivers here for the Lobos. Navarro takes a snap, drops back to pass,
Green.
feels the pressure.
Ooh, wow.
Beautiful play there
Great
by
timing.
number 10.
Yeah, great timing on that.
Friend of the broadcast, Joseph Lee on that big hit.
Yeah, nice play by Lee there. You know, if he didn't read that, we might have had something there. We ran that screen, was it, I think, on 4th down in the first half, and what an amazing call that was, and there was nothing but daylight. And we were looking like that again, and if you're going to make a 3rd and 23, that's a way to do it. But a young man from Bolsa made a great play.
An interesting call here, Coach Guest bringing out the punt team.
Yeah, I think that's smart. Again, flip the field, try to get Bolsa pinned down as much as they can. You know, there's not a lot of plays that they can call for a 4th and 25.
Yeah. And your defense has been doing very well. Actually, yeah, so it's punt. Very confusing the way this formation is. Oh, wow, that's going to be a very Bolsa-friendly punt. A punt of about 5 yards.
Yeah. Hindsight would be maybe it was better to go for it.
Yeah.
Given that situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little rough there on the snap, and punter was rushed a little there in his kick.
Yeah, you know, that's exactly what Bolsa needed. They needed to stop. They needed to do it fairly quickly. They got what they needed there, and so, you know, right back at it here.
And, you know, after a big play like that, you would expect the Matadors to be the ones who were mentally spent, but it was the Lobos making a mental mistake and getting pushed all the way back that gave the Matadors some life after that big play. And let's see what they can do here on their second drive of the second half. 4 wide receivers. Wynn drops back to pass. He feels the pressure.
Oh, wow.
He escapes. Look at that. But gets taken down after a gain of maybe a few inches. It's going to bring up 2nd down. We've got a Lobo down on the field.
I think that's who made the tackle. And went low. That might be a helmet to the knee.
That's what it looked like.
Type of situation. Those are always scary. That's always the fear is you get more head injuries from actual contact with the knee than you do from helmets a lot of times.
It looks like maybe like a little hip deal. They're trying to stretch him out.
Yeah.
It could be just one of those where you get a Charlie horse and you're just, instead of being in pain down there, he's probably just, you know, he could be laughing and just one of those funny bone situations. He pops up.
Good job there by trainer Rudy.
Yep, gets him fixed up quick. That was number 23, Pedro Hernandez. He's walking off under his own power. Probably just take a play or 2 off before he gets back out there. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 10 here for the Matadors. So no gain on that last play by Ethan Wynn.
Dave, when these guys go into halftime, I mean, you're talking about halftime adjustments. Head coaches depending a lot on the guys up here in the booth that can see the formations and looking for the.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh.
Yeah, it is. It's a much different perspective up where we are, where we can kind of see the whole big picture. When you're down there, it's hard to see all of that. You know, as a head coach, you might be able to see maybe, you know, half of the line in the box, whatnot. Obviously, the more you've done it, the more experience you get. But yes, you absolutely need to confer with your assistant coaches. That's become a little bit easier now with Huddle and Huddle sideline that we have, where they can now make those viewpoints and decisions a little bit more on the fly. They can intercut the sideline view with the end zone view, and it's a little more instantaneous in their feedback.
Ethan Wynn drops back to pass. He's got some pressure coming from the outside, but he gets away from it. Almost
Wow.
intercepted.
Like he was throwing right to him, yeah.
Rocco Rivera with some hands of stone, not able to come up with that interception. Matador still alive here, 4th and 10, but it looks like they might be bringing out the punt team themselves.
Yeah, but a lot of time going back to what you were saying, Todd, is you have coaches that have a game plan going into it, and they know what they're looking for when it's going to work, when it's not going to work, and that's really what they're looking at is, hey, this portion of our game plan worked well, let's stick with it. Hey, this one didn't. Hey, how are they going to attack us now that this has worked well?
A little confusion for the Matadors, not enough guys on the field as Joseph Lee runs out.
Yeah, it is such a different perspective, from down there, and I, spend the first half down there watching this game. You really can't see a lot of the play develop. You see what happens, but when you get up top, which is where your assistant coaches are up here and they're communicating with the coaches on the sideline, of course, they have a whole different look at it. And now we've seen these first 2 possessions of the second half, and adjustments have been made, and we've got basically 2 punts here, and we didn't see that in the first half, and so I'm sure that work at halftime has something to do with it.
Yeah, and football is the sport above all other sports in terms of the importance of coaching. Coaching is a huge factor in football. For some of our other sports, to be honest, we always value our coaches, but a lot of times it's the players that you have. And in football, it helps to have good players, but good coaching can always rear its head in that.
The Lobos come out with 4 wide receivers, Navarro in shotgun formation. See what they can do with their second drive of the second half here. Their last one stalled after a unsportsmanlike penalty. Navarro dropping out to run. Always dangerous, but he's taken down in the backfield. Looked like he was looking for Galindo coming out of the backfield there. It's going to bring him 2nd down and 11.
While we wait, we got a update from other game going on in GGUSD tonight. Garden Grove playing Segerstrom, and the Argonauts are currently down 20-14 to their rival Segerstrom.
They've actually built up a nice rivalry with Segerstrom over the last few years, as a lot of their games have been for the league championship. Depending, of course, what happens with Marina these last 2 weeks, they might have something to say about that.
Yeah, this is like we talked about with the Garden Grove League and that big 4 of the Golden West Conference. You have Segerstrom, Marina, and Garden Grove that are all bunched together this year. They're all within 1 score of each other. So Grove is still in it. They got a chance to come back and still have a chance at a league title if they're able to beat Segerstrom tonight. But certainly entertaining across town at Michael Mansour Stadium.
Hey, as long as they got Coach Cepeda prowling on the sidelines, they're in that game. You know that.
Los Amigos trying to get the sneak, and it looks like they did get it. We saw that a few times. We saw that sneak on, 2nd and 8 last time we were here.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 exciting games going on tonight. Dave, I don't want to be a downer, but tomorrow we're going to have a very exciting one here with Rancho and La Quinta.
Yes.
And over at Garden Grove, Pacifica's got a mountain in front of them in a very strong, very talented Tustin High School team.
Top 10 in the county now. So, yeah, very, very strong Tustin team.
We talk about all these ratings. Tustin rated, I believe, 33 right now. Oh, beautiful run there by Pedro.
Yeah, we'll give a shout out to Pacifica. Got a win last week at Kennedy. So again, I know a lot of people weren't expecting that.
No,
so
that was an upset victory for sure.
Yeah, great job for the Mariners. Coach Kyle Murphy got his 2nd win of the season, and the Mariners did. And so, big congratulations to them. But yeah, exciting game tomorrow with Rancho and La Quinta. Like I mentioned, I will be here for that. Getting some pictures, videos, updates, all of that.
Where are you guys going to be next week, David?
Depends.
I jumped the gun. I said Loera Rancho. It depends on what happens tomorrow night. If Rancho loses tomorrow night, then next week Los Amigos and Santiago is a very intriguing game because Los Amigos could be on their way to a league championship.
Yeah. Yeah, so if Los wins tonight and they're 3-1 and they're playing Loera, who right now has not won.
Rancho's playing Loera next week. Los Amigos beat Loera last week.
Correct. Yep, you're right.
So what we need is we need a LQ loss tomorrow and then an LQ, and then Bolsa to beat LQ also, and then we win out. Is that right?
At this point, you just need to win out, and,
Yeah,
and
just
you
win.
will have a share no matter what. if
Like
you
L.
win
Davis
out.
said, right?
Well, unless
As long
LQ's
as La Quinta has to lose.
Right.
If La Quinta
Right.
loses to Rancho, if La Quinta wins out, they're the sole league champions no matter what. Nobody can catch them because they're the only unbeaten team.
But in a case of a tie, we're the 2 because we lost head-to-head.
Yeah, but if you just have 2 one-loss teams, then head-to-head would come in there. If you have
Okay.
3 one-loss teams, you got to go to 3-way.
Okay.
And a lot of times those 3-ways can't break them because everybody's beat each other.
But with the new playoff systems, though, they recognize those first-place teams whether they're ties or not, right?
It depends if they're in the same division.
So
Oh.
the way it looks like right now, La Quinta and Los Amigos could be in that same division. So La Quinta is hoping to win out. Los Amigos is hoping that
Yeah.
La Quinta stumbles a few times here at the end.
Well, and all of that Cal Preps ratings, that'll all change obviously this week and next week as well too, and even after the games next week because they take into account their preseason opponents too, and those ratings might change. So
It's like these, the BCS.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and the one thing that's always taught us is that it changes and changes in ways you never would have expected it going in these last couple of weeks. Crazy things happen, and they shake up all the rankings, and that can happen here too, for sure.
Talk about the
wow.
ratings in just a bit, as Los Amigos getting a nice run there. So we talk about the ratings and just how funky the computers really are. So La Quinta has the highest power rating in the Garden Grove League at negative 34.6. But their strength of schedule so far is negative 48.6, which is the worst of the Garden Grove League teams. So just the way it doesn't seem to balance out is very interesting to me. You would figure that they might get dinged a little bit for their strength of schedule, but it really hasn't affected them as they're, 2.4 points ahead of Los Amigos right now. 2nd and 5 here for the Lobos. Clock running, 4 minutes and 25 seconds left to go. A little trickery. Backside handoff there to number 23, Pedro Hernandez, and he's going to be, he's going to get the first down. So clock running here, 4 minutes and 11 seconds. You almost have to think if the Lobos can get into the end zone here, Bolsa is going to have to really scratch and claw their way back, but I wouldn't imagine the Lobos would lose a 38 or 39-14 lead.
Yeah, they're going to be very patient now. Now we're getting late third quarter, and your run game is effective, and this is where you want to use that 30 seconds or a lot of it. You'll be looking at the back judge very often there and see when he starts his count, and you wait to snap and bleed that clock some, because most of these, if he gets another 6-7 there, you see a lot of positive gains, and you got an opportunity to take a lot of clock away now.
Yep, and the Lobos really winning that battle up front, as like Mr. Nurk said, they're a gain of 6 on that play, brings up 2nd and 4, and the clock's still running. So the clock's going to get under 3 minutes before they get this next play ran.
Yeah, I was starting to see what you saw in the first half too, where Los Amigos is getting hit right at the line of scrimmage, but they're gaining an extra 3, 4, 5 yards after contact
That
every
little
play.
extra effort. Oh, a pass here over to Galindo. Tries to bounce out to the outside. He's not going to get there. And he's actually going to get brought down for a loss to the original line of scrimmage. Some good sportsmanship there as they help out the Lobo off the floor. The Matadors there. It's going to bring up 2nd down or 3rd down now in 10. I like that play call. You try to catch them off guard a little bit. You almost think like, hey, are they too complacent? They're not being complacent. That was a nice little call there.
Yeah, 3rd down and 9 here, and so again you're looking at 4 down territory here inside the 30. Try to pick up something positive here, make it a short 4th down, or maybe you watch. He's going to run the ball right here. I'm going to call it.
Navarro keeps it
or left.
himself. He's going to get nowhere as the Bolsa defense comes up big there. So let's see what the call is here on 4th down, if they're just going to run it or if they're going to drop a little pass, maybe a little bit of trickery. Let's see what Coach Guest does. But this clock going to be around maybe 1 minute and 30 by the time it's all said and done after this fourth down play.
Gonna be a false start.
Lobos again marching the wrong way on this side of the field for the second drive in a row.
I might kick it here if I'm Coach Guess. Might just, again, try to pin down Bolsa as much as I can. Get to a 4th and 15 here. Those 15 yards that you could get, that might be a premium.
You know, Dave, after seeing that last punt attempt, I'm thinking maybe even a nice little run's going to get you.
Well, I'm always a favor of the quarterback quick kick, not necessarily.
Oh, they're going to pass.
Another screen. Here we go. Flanker
to
screen.
Radia to the right side.
He's got it to the outside.
Wow, he's got the first down and some. Oh, does he have the first down?
Yes.
He does.
He does. That's going to be first down. Hey, don't ever second guess Coach Guess. He did something that none of us were expecting, I'm pretty sure, on that one. I just thought maybe they run the ball up the middle, try to get a little bit of yards.
First taking advantage of the corners being off there.
And you know what? That's how you win league championships, right? By taking chances and.
Yeah, show him something you haven't seen yet. You know, he runs the deep flanker screen and picked it up. That's a great call.
And you know, we really haven't seen Radia with the ball in his hands too much tonight. It's been a steady dose of Navarro and Galindo with a little bit of Hernandez mixed in there.
Take a look at the line here, see what the Lobos do up front.
A little bit of pull action. That guy coming from the backside there is number 77, I believe, for the Matadors. Jesse Hernandez on that tackle at the line of scrimmage. But again, I think right now, instead of a score being on the minds of the Lobos, it's probably a little bit of, hey, let's get this clock all the way down to zeros here. And
well, they don't have to run a play here. They can go to the fourth quarter. While they do that, I will be corrected here from a listener out there. But, yeah, reminding me that, yeah, with football playoffs, because football is based just on Cal Preps in terms of where you are, seedings no longer matter in terms of where you finished in league. So first, second, and third don't really matter.
That's right. It's all about your ranking in that group.
So they, finishing first, second, or third matters in terms of automatic qualifiers getting into playoffs. But you could have your number one team in that playoff division be a third place team.
Yeah, that's right. Or a fourth place team in one of those larger leagues. That's right. You know, things change so much. You know, it's hard to keep track.
It's much different. And again, when we go to all football leagues next year, it's going to be even more different.
They're just blow up the whole entire playbook, the whole scrap heap.
Speaking of that, yeah, Mr. Nurk here will be a part of that here coming Monday, but we have to do re-leaguing over again. I don't know if we've talked about that on a broadcast before, but an appeal was made on the last re-leaguing process, and it was approved, and so Who
was the main complainant in that?
Yeah, I don't know if that's a
who was
let's say they are to the
who was the most concerned?
Yeah, they're to the northeast of us now from where we are here. But yeah, they hopefully it's a quick process and maybe the same proposal that went through before comes through again. But doing that Monday.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. We'll get out there. We'll listen to what they have to say and we'll make our vote and move on, see what happens. But, yeah, there's a process we're going to be involved in here.
Navarro with the carry to the right. Again, that's second effort, getting him all the way into the Matador red zone there. I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
And I don't know if Bolsa is able to come back in this game if they can't stop what's going on now. Where again Los is getting an extra 4 to 5 yards every time after contact. That's something that the Matadors cannot afford to do at this point.
You know, at this point now it's just all about wearing that defense down too, and I think that's just what we're seeing is the Lobos are able to just push them around, and even when they don't push them around, that second effort is getting them the yards they need to get first downs and get them manageable third down situations. And, of course, giving up a fourth down conversion didn't help. Fernandez
Nice.
to the left side,
Nice.
still on his feet. It's going to be a touchdown for the Lobos, and I don't want to say nail in the coffin, Dave, but that might be nail in the coffin.
Well, that puts us, where are we at here with that?
37-14. Los Amigos lead. You know what, Mr. Nurk, fourth quarter. Figure this is probably going to wind down to the end. Let's get you down there with your squad.
All right, David,
We appreciate
thank
you for
yeah.
helping us out here as always.
Hey, it's always great to be here. Look forward to it every time, and hope to see you again on Los Amigos broadcast.
There we go. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, have a great one. Thank you.
So, of course, not the outcome we were expecting. I mean, we've been hearing a lot about how competitive the league is, and this is going to go down as, at least amongst the Garden Grove district teams, the widest margin of victory as they get the 2-point conversion.
That moves it to a 4-score game. So that is probably the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, we look at these past scores, you know, Santiago losing by 1 score to La Quinta, to Bolsa, losing by 9 to Rancho. You know, I mean, Rancho losing by 1 point to Los Amigos. Bolsa losing by, 6 points to, 3 points to Rancho.
Well, this is kind of, we've talked about this in weeks past, talking about Los Amigos when they are healthy is the best team on paper. I think everyone agrees with that, and I think that's what you're seeing tonight. The hope of the rest of the Garden Grove League was that they could kind of catch Los Amigos when they weren't healthy, but they knew once they got healthy they were going to win games, and we're certainly seeing that play out tonight.
And for La Quinta, they have to really be happy that they caught Mason on his first game back where he was a little bit probably limited. But this makes next week very interesting because the Matadors are probably going to come out very angry.
Well, they'll be fighting for their playoff life at that point. And so, and again, a rivalry game with La Quinta, you can never tell a rivalry game.
No.
You know, a good team versus a bad team, but they're rivals. You never know. You never know what's going to happen there because there's so many emotions that go into that game. But yeah, speaking about that Los Amigos La Quinta game, at the first round of the Garden Grove League, remember Los Amigos was up 2 scores in that game. They were up 21-7 or 2 scores to 1, or sorry, 3 scores to 1 at that point, and La Quinta came storming back to win that game. So Los, even with an injured Mason Navarro, almost came out and won that game as well.
Yeah, so they really lucked out because I think right now, I think as we see it tonight, if you get these 6 teams, Los Amigos right now is probably a little, I wouldn't say head and shoulders above everybody, but
I think they're the most complete team.
Yeah.
But even with that, I honestly don't believe. I mean, we're going to have it here tonight. Maybe I catch some flack from this. I don't really believe that Los is, 3-4 scores better than Bolsa Grande. I think this is still a close game. I just think that Los has played well tonight, and Bolsa hasn't taken advantage of some of the opportunities that they had. But I mean, again, we always talk about this. If they play 10 times, I don't think that Los Amigos is going to win by 4 scores 10 of those times. Certainly not.
And I can go out and say this. I thought at the start of the season that Los Amigos would have been able to go undefeated in league and take care of business just because of who they had. And I think right now they're kind of playing to what I expected them to play as Ethan Wynn lets go of that ball. That's a beautiful passing catch there. That one caught by number 18 or maybe number 16 or 14.
Yeah, 14.
We're going down the line. Eddie Zarate, we've heard his number called a few times here tonight. Here we go, Matadors with the hurry up. But yeah, the Lobos now playing the type of football I thought they would have played, all year. And, again, if Mason doesn't go down, Dave, you might be looking at an undefeated Los Amigos team right now.
Yeah, they let's get through their schedule.
Because they lost to Viewpoint, which they were on a 3rd-string quarterback, maybe a 4th-string quarterback at that time. They lost to University 21-7, I believe.
Artesia, right?
In Artesia. And, Bolsa Grande took care of Artesia. They beat. They didn't take care of them, by a lot, but they beat them 49-42 the week before. Los Amigos, took them on. Los Amigos, of course, losing to Artesia 35-15, but you're talking about if they're at full strength, and maybe they're undefeated right now. They're looking at a historic season. Clock at 8 minutes and 39 seconds left to go here in the fourth quarter. Los Amigos 39, Bolsa Grande 14. David Mora here with Dave O'Malley, Garden Grove Unified School District Athletics High School Football, live on YouTube. Zarate in motion, and Wynn drops back to pass, looks to his left, has some time, still has some time, lets that one go. He's got a man open, but overthrown. Zarate, the intended receiver on that play.
Quick update, looks like we got about 10 minutes to go in the Garden Grove game, and Segerstrom has opened up a 2-score lead, so it's 28-14 Segerstrom.
That's tough. We talked about how programs who have sustained success, they all have a reset year. When's the last time that we've seen a 2-6 Garden Grove team?
Yeah,
it's been
a while.
It's been at least 2 decades since we've seen that, and maybe this is just a kind of reset year that Coach Cepeda needs before the Argonauts get back to their winning ways next year. And again, that's still a ball game with plenty of game to be played.
Yeah, take a look. I want to get the number right here, but
nice Matador punt there. It's going to roll out of bounds at their 28-yard line. So the Matadors will be, the Lobos will be starting back at their own 28-yard line.
yeah, I won't do the math, but I'll just list it off here. Since 2008, Garden Grove has won a league title in football in 2008, 2009, 2010, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 16, 17, 18, 21, and 22. So they have had a load of success in their football program. Having a season like this is absolutely few and far between for them.
Yeah, they have not missed the playoffs since, I want to say, maybe 2003, maybe 2004.
Well, and they might not miss it this year. Again, they won't be 500, but they can still apply again. If there's not enough 500 teams in a division, they have a chance. It's probably not likely, but there's still a chance.
Of course, you don't want to leave it up to that wild card. And look at this. Radia with a beautiful run, still on his feet, puts on a move, still on his feet at the 50, the 45, still on his feet. Miguel Radia really haven't called his name tonight other than a few times on kickoff returns, but he's got his team, the Lobos, deep into Matador territory now as he gets driven out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Nice little play.
Yeah, great moves, great run there. Again, I think the story of the game, at least since I've been here, has been missed tackles. Missed tackles by Bolsa Grande. We saw a couple of them there. Leads to big plays, and again, the Lobos are able to just grind down the field because of that.
Yeah, we've seen the Lobos 4 times this year. I think this is the 4th time that we've seen them. And like I said, this is how I expected to see them, against Viewpoint. They probably would have ran all over Cabrillo had they been at full strength. And that Rancho game, of course, was just going to be a good close game nonetheless, because just, last year, Rancho handing them their only league loss. They were going to, Los Amigos was going to step up. And here we go again, a nice run to the left side.
He's in.
Number 22.
Oh, so he stepped out.
He stepped out of bounds at about the 2-yard line.
Yeah.
Raul Cruz on the carry. The Bolsa band's good. Sound good. We can say that. The last time we were, in a game with a big margin like this, it was Anaheim all over Rancho.
Yeah, we haven't had a lot of, we've only done close games this year.
Yeah. Last year, week 1, Bolsa that was a runaway win for Bolsa. That was a fun one. And yep, he's going to get into the end zone now. Touchdown, Los Amigos, taken in by number 22, Raul Cruz, and that's going to just add on a little bit more to this Lobo lead as they now lead 45-14 in a game with a score that I'm sure nobody expected. This is going to be maybe even the largest margin of victory in any Garden Grove League game this year.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, let's see what Loera. Well, I don't even have Loera. We don't keep track of you guys.
No, I think Loera games, I think, were 30-7. I think was probably the biggest game and the biggest loss Loera had. So
Lobos beat Loera 34-6.
there you go. I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest up until this point.
Yeah. Bolsa beat them 47-28. Yeah, and La Quinta squeaked by them 31-23, so this is the largest margin of victory in the Garden Grove. Of course, unless Bolsa comes out and scores 21 points to shrink that, and it's 46-35 by the end of it, but we'll see.
Yeah, tough one, but
stranger things have happened in high school football. Like last week, Mater Dei getting shut out by St. John Bosco. I'm sure no one expected that to happen.
Certainly surprising there. But that's, again, like we were talking about before, like next week with Bolsa Grande and La Quinta, St. John Bosco, Mater Dei, big rivalry.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes expectations, records, national prominence, that stuff just gets thrown out, and it's just two teams that don't like each other, and anything can happen.
Of course, we'll get into the storylines next week, but a lot of the Bolsa Grande and La Quinta students going to the same elementary schools, going to the same intermediate schools, probably going to McGarvin together, going to Irvine together. Oh, that ball popped out of the returner's arms.
Yeah, and as we've mentioned a couple times on these broadcasts too, Bolsa La Quinta is really the only rivalry left in our district.
Yep.
That's consistent, year in, year out, sport in, sport out. They are rivals with each other and everything, and we've kind of lost a lot of the rivalries we used to have. We used to have Rancho Grove was a big rivalry for a long time, right? You were part of that, obviously, and we even had some Pacifica Garden Grove that was a rivalry for some times.
We had a Rancho and Pacifica, back in the day was a nice little rivalry. Remember a lot of siblings were split between the schools. Brothers would go to Pacifica, sisters would go to Rancho, and vice versa. That's why I figured you get both teams next week at 3-1, and to end the league with the last of the Mohican rivalry. Of course that doesn't look like it's going to happen here, but certainly was exciting to think about it.
It was, yeah.
Turmoil is no longer an option in the Garden Grove League, and maybe just a little bit of chaos, but full-fledged turmoil is off the table.
Oh, we can see, last year was Bolsa's year where they, big hit there.
Wow, yep.
Bolsa, to be honest, hadn't been very good in football for 30 years. And last year, obviously, they turned the corner, turned the page with that, and had a great year. And this might be the year for La Quinta to do that. La Quinta's been the same way, and this might be the year where they got a chance. Maybe they can end up being 5-0 and win the last year of the Garden Grove League, but maybe this is their year to kind of jump out.
For me, it would have been fitting to have La Quinta in Bolsa, who a lot of people, and I don't want to be negative to either team, but those are two teams who, if you ask people from 15, 20 years ago, and you say Bolsa and La Quinta are going for the Garden Grove League title.
Yep. Oh, there were so many years that they were 0-9 facing each other.
Yeah, and the one win was their win against each other. So for me, it would have been special to see both of them kind of battle it out for that league championship.
And even though, again, Bolsa's not getting the result they want here tonight, again, they have had a tremendous turnaround under Coach Acosta.
Oh yeah.
Where they are expecting to compete for league championships. They haven't had that in a long time. And again, same with La Quinta. They are expecting to be good. And I know La Quinta is expecting to be good not just this year, but in subsequent years. They are a relatively young team still.
That's right. This is a sophomore quarterback or
Junior quarterback.
quarterback.
Yeah. I think they have some junior linemen as well too.
And now with the new leagues, like there's a chance for all of our schools to have some sustained success. I mean, you look at Santiago, there are a few plays here and there from being in the thick of it too.
Absolutely,
their schedule doesn't say a lot about the character of their football team and just how good they are. They just happen to be in a league with so much parity this year that, maybe in other years they're in second place right now.
Yeah, I know Coach Oz is frustrated with that point that you're making there. They haven't played bad football. They've just been on the wrong end of 1 point or 1 score games. And if you change one little part of those games, they might be looking at 3-0 or 2-1 at this point right now.
Yeah, a 6-point loss to La Quinta. They had a 6-point loss to Bolsa Grande. And 11-point loss or a 9-point loss to Rancho. So all losses by single digits, and it's got to be frustrating, but it's also got to give you some hope for the future when you're putting in a new league where. And who knows? I mean, maybe these new leagues are going to be so competitive that everyone's winning by 1 or 2. At least that's the hope, right? And I see what they're going with these leagues. And, Michael Huntley wrote about how the Garden Grove League is probably the most competitive this year. I mean, you don't see what we're seeing in the Garden Grove League. You're not seeing it in the Orange League.
Right.
You're not seeing it in the Freeway League. Even though La Habra's not on top anymore, they took care of business handily against Buena Park. But no other league, we can probably, at the end of the year, go in, over the margins of victory for all of our schools in the average, and it's probably going to be way closer than any league.
Well, like you're alluding to, even the last place team right now, Loera, has close games with everybody as well, too. And so, certainly a lot of parity. It is a lot of fun to be a part of these games and call these games.
And, honestly, I hope we do have someone from the registry here next year. Garden Grove League is one of the oldest leagues. And, there's the older leagues. The Sunset League's older, obviously, the Orange League. But those leagues have seen so much turnaround and so many teams go in and out. The Garden Grove League, along with the Freeway League, they've been two of the most consistent leagues where they haven't had this huge turnaround. And even the Freeway League didn't start off as the Freeway League as we know it. It was totally different. Garden Grove's had at least 5 members, consistently since 1968 or 66, whenever it started. Got to note that the Lobos do have different personnel in here, as Abraham Solorio is now in at quarterback. Mason Navarro getting some well-deserved rest here. 3 minutes left to go here in the game. I know, Dave, you're going to want to head down there in a little bit.
This is my last play. Yep, I'm heading down now.
So there we go. We thank you, Dave, for joining us here, and we'll have more about next week's game. But for sure, we'll be here on Friday night against with Bolsa and La Quinta.
Yep.
We'll figure out Thursday after tomorrow night. So
so we'll see you next week. Again, I will be at the Rancho La Quinta game tomorrow, so check in for updates on that, and I'll see you guys next week.
There we go. Well, definitely follow GGUSD Athletics on Instagram to keep up with the games tomorrow night, or at least that Rancho La Quinta game, which is a huge game. Depending on what happens there, we might be able to get a nice 3-way split there for the league title. But here, what started off as a very exciting game has ended up kind of an uneventful game. So it's one of those games where you scramble to try and stay interested, maybe, I guess you could say. It's got under 2 minutes left to go here in the fourth quarter. But I thank you for tuning in. I am David Mora. This is Garden Grove Unified School District Athletics High School Football. Remember, you can watch this after this game is over. Share this stream with everyone. And Eduardo, I got to say, I was saying that Los Amigos is a good team. They were my preseason pick to win the league title. I thought they were going to go 6-0 and win it. Clock is going to stop at 1 minute and 42 seconds. Love that the Bolsa Band is still out here playing for their team. It's going to bring up second down here for the Matadors. That pass going to be complete. That's a beautiful sliding catch there by number 8. Joey Sangentino, who's listed at 5'3" also. I don't know, I'm 5'3". Some of these guys don't look that short to me. But shout out to all the short kings out there. That pass completed as well. Matador is going to call a timeout here. So again, tune in next week. We will be back here. Same place. Depending on who, well, same place on YouTube, but depending on who we cover. That Rancho game is a little bit early. Starts at 6:30, so it won't be same time, same place, but it will be same place right here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to us and also follow us on Instagram. Follow the Garden Grove Unified School District Instagram as well at Garden Grove UST. That's where I do most of my work. Also like us on Facebook at GGUSD. And if you're on X, we're there too, GGUSD. Garden Grove Unified School District, of course, is more than just athletics, even though that's all we talk about here. They do academics too. I think it's the main thing they do is school, stuff like that. Shout out to Vincent, who was on the sideline cam. And shout out to Kaylin, who's doing a great job here on the main camera. Nights like these, sometimes you're kind of like you get maybe a little bored. We're going to have a 46 to 14 victory for the Lobos. They're going to move to 5-4, 3-1 in the Garden Grove League. The Matadors will fall to 5-4, 2-2 in the Garden Grove League as that pass falls incomplete and stops the clock at 7 seconds. As for us, after this, we will have the wonderful task of cleaning up and breaking down this studio and walking everything down these bleachers. We earn our money here on Garden Grove Unified School District Athletics. And that's going to bring us to the end of the ball game here. Again, the Lobos victorious over the Matadors, 46-14. We thank you for tuning in. Remember, tune in next week and follow our social medias to figure out what game we're going to be covering next Thursday. Until next time, I am David Mora for Dave O'Malley. We